Alright guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of our RPG series. I know I haven't recorded one in a while. I wasn't well. I was a bit sick, so I couldn't make any videos. I'm better now. Not completely out of the woods yet, but well enough to be able to record a video. So given that some time has passed, I was like, well, let me just make one and give you guys something for the week. Okay, so in today's episode, we are I've taken some time to catch up myself with where we ended. So we have our weapon there being picked up, but from there we cannot equip it. All right, from there we cannot equip it, so we have to change that. We should be able to equip it, yeah. So the first thing that we're going to do in this episode is to change how this chest works. So we're going to change how this chest works. So currently when we get there, we pick it up and la-di-da, what we're going to do is to change and say, let's say this chest has something inside, right? So it has got this longbow item inside, and when you look at this longbow item, it's of type weapon. It has everything, but it's not actually a weapon. It's an inventory item of type weapon. So the first change that we're gonna have is going to be inside our item script. I'm gonna open this script up. So currently when we get our item, we are unable to extract if it's a weapon from this. So we're gonna add one more variable here. So we're gonna make it a public weapon object, and we'll call it a weapon. So if it's of type weapon, we're going to assign this weapon object, and if it's not, this weapon object will be null. Perfect. Clear that. So when we come to our chest here, come to our longbow here, when we click on that, we've got a weapon slot, but we don't have a weapon assigned to it. You can see if we were to try and drag our longbow there, nothing will happen. So what we're gonna do is to go back to our inventory, is to go to, not inventory really, but combat system, then weapons. So we've got our sword here, right? We're gonna create a new one. So let's create custom weapon. We're gonna call this, because this is the one that we can equip. We cannot equip our inventory item, but we can equip an actual item, an actual weapon, and bind it to, so this is the longbow, and bind it to our inventory item. So this is the longbow. Let's call it not just longbow, but let's call it longbow weapon, so that we differentiate between our longbow inventory item and our longbow weapon. It's going to be of type bow. Its damage is gonna be bows usually do a lot of damage, so let's give it 70. Weapon sprite, okay, let's look for the same 89 that we used. A guy. Then the weapon object, we're gonna leave this as it is, empty. Okay, so when we go to our inventory system, items, and then weapons, and then we check our longbow. When we click on that, we can pick the longbow item as the weapon for this particular item. So this item is actually a weapon, as you can see, and the weapon variable is filled with an actual weapon, right? That is done. We're going to come back here. That's the first change. The next change is going to happen let me see, inside our inventory slot. So if we go back to the slot, so let's go back to our inventory slot. So we'll go to player controller, inventory, item slots, and then inventory slot. We've got an inventory slot script attached to this. We'll open that guy up. So inside our inventory slot script, we've got a few things here. We've got our on slot click and everything. That's great. That's great. But we need to now make some other different changes to this. So the first one that we're going to make is a change pertaining to our weapon itself. So we need to be able to read it somehow. And we know that when we equip our weapon, it's being controlled by our weapon management. If you remember, we created a weapon management. So we're going to say serialize field here. Papa. So we're going to say serialize field. Then we're going to say weapon manager. Weapon, let's say W manager, right? So we're going to say weapon manager, weapon manager. That's the first thing that we're going to do. Then we're going to go into our weapon manager. So here's how our weapon manager is going to work. It's also going to have a bit of a difference. That's another place. So open your weapon manager. So in here right now, if you look, we've got a game object for the equipped weapon, and that's about it. We're going to change how this works. So we're going to come here and say, let's put a comment, and then we're going to say a list or collection of our available weapons. Okay, so we're going to now say public, okay, list. Okay, it's public because we want to access it in so many different scripts. So we're going to say of type weapon type. So of type weapon type, we're going to call this available weapons. This will be equal to a new list of that type. Then we're going to create a reference to the equipped weapon object, which is our scriptable object. So scriptable object, we're going to come here and then we're going to say, we have it right here actually, serialize field weapon. So let's not make it just a serialized field, let's make it a public one so that we can also access it in other scripts. Okay, so now this game object of type this game object of type weapon, we're going to remove it because we are not going to use it anymore. We're going to have a few changes in here. So if we save, you can see that nothing has changed a lot still. So let's just read through this and make sure that nothing has changed. So in our start function, we've got our animator controller being equipped. Then let's see. All right, the transforms, shift transform. Okay, then we've got our equip function, which does all that, Okay, game object, weapon to equip. Okay, nothing changes there. We're going to go back to our inventory slot. Then in our inventory slot, we're going to create a new function. After the on slot click, we're going to create a new public void handle assigning. So handle assigning of the weapon. Okay, so we're going to create another switch statement here. So switch, okay, current item, item type. Okay, so we're gonna have that, and then if the current, so case one is item dot item type dot weapon, right? We're gonna say weapon object. We're going to say weapon object. Okay, so this is a local variable, is equals to our current item, okay, dot weapon dot weapon. Okay, then remember we created a weapon in there. We're going to now say game object weapon obj is going to be equal to a new game object. Then we're going to say the name of the game object. So let's say the name of the game object is going to be equal to current item dot name, dot item name. Given that it's a weapon, we're going to have its item name be longbow, sword, whatever. Okay, comma, then type of, we're going to cast it to a type of going to cast it to a type of weapon type. Weapon type. Okay, then what we're going to say now is weapon type is going to be equal to our weapon, so our weapon obj dot get component weapon type, right? So let's put some comments here for you guys to be able to follow. So the first part is we're creating a local variable of weapon object, and we're assigning our current item to weapon object, which we've already set in our scriptable object. Then we are, next up, we are creating a new game object with weapon type script attached. Okay, then we are now getting the weapon type script component. Then we're going to now have to assign the weapon object to weapon type. So how are we doing this assigning here? We're going to say weapon type dot weapon okay, the weapon is going to be equal to our weapon object. Okay, then we're gonna say weapon type dot weapon obj dot weapon type is going to be equal to our weapon object dot weapon type. Then we're going to now add the weapon type to the weapon manager list that we created. So we're going to say weapon, it's actually w manager dot have we created that function yet? I doubt if we have. So we're going to have to create a function to get to attach to this. So let's go to this function, to this class, the weapon manager class. If you go to the bottom of your script, after the shift function, the shift method or the shift function, yes, you're going to say public void, so doesn't that return anything, add weapon to list, or let's say add weapon to equipped inventory. So add weapon to equipped inventory. It's going to take let's see. It's going to take a weapon type. So we're going to say if the available weapons, so we're going to put a not condition at the beginning. So if the available weapons do not contain this particular weapon type, okay, because we do not want to have duplicates, then we're going to say available weapons that add weapon type. We can close that. We'll go back to our inventory slot, and then we're going to say weapon manager dot add weapons to inventory, and then we're going to pass in our weapon type. Nice and easy and beautiful looking. So we go back to our weapon management. We've got one more function that we need to work with. So equip weapon object function. So let's see the equip weapon object. So we've got the animator dot what equip is equals to true, animator controller dot set, then the start coroutine. Okay, so we're going to change this. Instead of game object, this will now take weapon type, weapon object. Okay, let's actually just call it the same, weapon to equip. I don't have the time to change everything, so let's just say weapon type, weapon to equip. Then it's going to complain. So in our start coroutine, we're going to say wait for that. Then we're going to say dot weapon obj dot weapon Let me see. Damage dot weapon object, like that. Then that's how we're going to do it there. Then the next thing we're going to say at the part for attach weapon object. So we're going to say the same dot weapon object. Then the unequip. Then we're going to say right here, if not available weapons dot contains the weapon to equip, we are going to say available weapons dot add weapon. Then on the unequip, we're going to also change it a bit. So let's just change that and say, there we go, weapon type. Okay. Then we're going to come here and say the same. Then okay. So let's see, there's something we've forgotten. Right. Okay, so right here we're going to say weapon. Remember, our weapon variable is going to be equal to the weapon to equip. Then instead of using this here, let's use weapon, and also here let's use weapon. Okay, then same applies here. We are going to say weapon, not weapon to equip, but weapon is equal to no, so that we don't have anything. Now in our equip functions and our sheath functions, okay, so in our equip function we've got the equip weapon. Let's see. So let's see. It will complain about this weapon. So we'll say weapon dot weapon obj dot weapon object. What does our equip weapon take? I feel like we are missing something. Our equip weapon is taking a weapon type. Alright, so this will just change. It will just become our weapon. Instead of all of this which we're passing the object here, it will just become our weapon. Nice and easy. That's done. We go to our inventory slot. We are adding it there. So we just have to say break out of that. Then we can just say case craftable. Then we can just say add logic, that's for later, and then we can say break. Okay, we can put a semicolon there. Then we can put the final one, which is case consumable, semicolon, and then put a comment for logic here. And then we're gonna break as well from that. Nice. Okay, so it's all looking nice and neat. We've changed everything we need to change. So we've changed our weapon manager. It's working with weapon type, and then we're passing the game object in there. We've changed our item. We've added a weapon in there to be able to store it so that we can use it in our other script. And then we've also changed our inventory slot to add this new function and also to add this variable at the top here. Okay, let's save that, go back to Unity, clear that, we go to our player, we put some variables that we might need to set. So let me see. So let's see, with our weapon manager, everything seems fine for now. What else do we have here? Okay, what did we change? We changed our slot. But our slot, we're going to have a challenge because our slot is created at runtime. So how is it going to find if it's created at runtime? We could put something very important. So let's say start. When our slot is just created, we're just going to say w manager is equal to, then we're going to say game object dot find. We're going to find an object with this name, so we're going to put character. Okay, then dot get component in parent weapon manager. So now we need to go to where our weapon manager is, which is this very object, the player. All right, let's not use character, let's say player. Let me see how many of them are named player. Okay, the other one is named MC, which is main character. So let's say this guy is going to be called player, like that. So we're going to go into the player, then we're going to find the weapon manager and we're going to assign it. And this assigning is only done when our little guy is created. So let's test this out. Let's test this out and see what we have. So we can move around. All right, let's go there, interact with that. Press I to open our inventory. There's our weapon. When we click on it, we've got our information. And then when we click on, oh, we didn't bind the button. Let's go to we have to open up our inventory, items, slot. We'll open up the slot. We'll click on the details. Then we're going to go to the main content, main BG, button group, then the equip, use whatever button. We're going to add. Then we're going to drag our slot there. Then we're going to go to inventory slot. Then we're going to go to handle assigning. So remember to set this up, very, very important. Then we're going to save that slot. So the slot is already bound the way we want it to be. So when we hit play now, our button will work. So go there, equip, I click that. And when we click that, okay, something happened. You can see here, a new weapon has been created called longbow. And when we look at it, it's got a weapon object of type longbow weapon. And when we go to our longbow weapon, it's the very one that we had already set up as a scriptable object. So the only thing now there left to do is when we click equip, is that our weapon should be equipped into our hand position and our sheath position. So the next thing that we're going to do is to be able to bind an object on our weapon object. So to be able to instantiate a game object from our game into that weapon object slot, and then equip it. So if you enjoyed this episode, leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. I know I haven't uploaded, but as I said, I wasn't well. But now that I'm better, we should be getting our regular one video per week. And I hope you guys have kept on developing your games even in the 2 weeks that I haven't uploaded because of my illness. And keep trying things on your own. There are so many different ways of doing these things. You can do them your own way. You can follow my way and improve on it. That doesn't matter. Just as long as you practice and do it the way you want it to be done. At the end of the day, it's your game, and you want your game to look a certain way, to feel a certain way. So it's impossible for me to make a game that feels right for everyone. But I'm glad that so far, from the people, from most of you that I've managed to interact with, it seems like you guys are actually experimenting on your own and going forward, doing things which I'm very, very glad about. All right, so we're going to end this one here. Going to go and test out how to make that logic that I talked about, where we can equip our object, so that in the next episode we equip our ball object. If you enjoyed this one, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel again, and thank you very much for all the support that you've shown so far. Thank you very much for watching this episode, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.